All right, everyone. My name is Russell. This isn't the main Fallout from Dishonor podcast, but I am Russell from the Fallout from Dishonor podcast. It is about 3 a.m. on Thursday, August 28th. So, normally, I wouldn't be recording in this particular morning, but some things happened. I've been known to do a random review on NXT or various things throughout the week, but not on a Thursday morning. So let me tell you about the day I had yesterday. I work a swing shift job, as some of you already know, and I woke up around noon and a little after noon. I've got several alarms that they start going off at 12 and then 12:15 and 12:30, and eventually I get in the shower and I got to be to work by 4 p.m. Anyway, that's kind of irrelevant. So I woke up about noon, groggy, went downstairs, got a cup of coffee, came back upstairs, laid on the bed, started screwing around on my phone, and one of the first things I saw on Twitter was from ROH, and it reads as follows. Throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe. And despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. This year will culminate with a final battle in December, and we will be taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine ROH. ROH has the most dedicated fan base in the industry, and we appreciate the loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize ROH. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Supercard of Honor with a new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. So, as far as that statement goes, the two words that make me shiver a little bit are reimagine and reconceptualize. They haven't meant the greatest things in the past when it comes to wrestling. But before I get into my thoughts, oh, damn it. Sorry, I don't have my noise gate on, so every little movement I make is going to be heard. I have more. So that was tweeted out by Ring of Honor at 12:24 on October 27th. So bringing my phone up here at 12:46, so roughly 15-20 minutes after that happened, Dave Meltzer tweeted on his Twitter account, ROH released everyone from contracts, more to come. So that tweet scared the living hell out of me. And then a few hours later, Brian Alvarez would tweet, everyone under contract with ROH will be paid through the end of the year. So after reading those two tweets, I was extremely confused. Okay, so 1,600 hours, that's about 4 o'clock. All right, so at a little bit before 4, Mike Johnson at PW Insider wrote this on his website. PWInsider.com has confirmed with multiple talents who were on today's Ring of Honor Zoom call that they were informed that if their contracts were expiring at the end of the year, they will not be renewed. At that point, they will be free to go work elsewhere. Talents who have deals beyond January 1st, 2022 will remain under contract for at least a certain period of time. It's a very vague sentence. And then there's an update. We have heard March 2022 and or April 2022, so it's within that window. They're obviously referencing when the company might return, as April has been the kind of rumor going on. To continue, Ring of Honor is still slated to tape episodes of their weekly TV series this weekend in Baltimore. It is Thursday, October 28th, so the weekend in a couple days starts on the 30th, so that particular weekend is obviously when they're going to be taping in Baltimore. And then 12/11 Final Battle pay-per-view is still on, so there is a pay-per-view December 11th. Obviously, that's still on. That pay-per-view will very much... Okay, this is a typo, but it says that pay-per-view will very much end point chapter in Ring of Honor, as whatever form the promotion ends up taking going forward will be a very different animal. We are also told that the promotion does have a venue currently locked in for WrestleMania weekend 2022 in Dallas, Texas, which would be the announced Supercard of Honor. ROH's weekly TV series will continue on during this announced hiatus, using a mix of archival footage and more. I just completed a 30-minute conversation with Joe Koff about today's decision for PWInsiderElite.com subscribers. So, a little comment on that. I am not an Elite subscriber, although I have been thinking about paying. I get paid, I guess, as it's 3 a.m. later today. I have been thinking about paying the $8.99 just so I can sit down and listen to that 30-minute interview. As an Elite member, I read the terms and conditions. I would not, as I like to quote my sources and whatnot, with Twitter posts and articles and such, as you know, if you've ever listened to this, I will not be able to do that if I listen to that. The best I'd be able to do is give you generalizations about how the interview made me feel. Otherwise, whatever membership I have could be terminated, and who knows what else could happen. I wouldn't want to ruffle any feathers as far as that goes. But to the point, I've been a little bit stressed all day. As some of you know, and some of you may not know, I originally started this podcast to mainly focus on Ring of Honor. After an episode or two, it kind of became very clear that I would have to expand my horizon to help grow my audience. Just covering Ring of Honor wasn't going to do it, unfortunately. But given that I started the podcast covering Ring of Honor, obviously it's going to hold a soft spot. The name of the podcast, Fallout from Dishonor, is obviously something that's heavily influenced by Ring of Honor. So this hit a little close to home. So a couple thoughts first. The tweet by Dave Meltzer, ROH released everyone from its contracts, more to come. I know a lot of people like to shit on Dave Meltzer when he gets things wrong. I try not to do that. I try not to shit on any news source. If I question their validity, I usually just don't mention them. This tweet in particular really pissed me off, especially when we found out later that that's the whole everyone being released thing isn't exactly what it sounds like what's going on. What it sounds like's going on is that people aren't getting fired so much as their contracts aren't getting renewed. Now, this article on PW Insider about people beyond January 1st, remaining under contract for at least a certain period. That could be referencing a couple different things. They could be looking forward to possibly fire certain people. They could be looking forward. They could be using a general date like that because maybe there's several people in the months after that have release dates, and you got to take them day by day. It's hard to figure out exactly what they mean by that. To put it bluntly, this is not a good thing. God, I don't, except for like the tweets that I just quoted brought up on my computer and on my phone, I don't really have like a statement. I don't have a statement prepared or anything. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here. But this is not good. Ring of Honor has done well by their wrestlers more so than most wrestling companies. They went on a hiatus when the pandemic started. I forget exactly how long, somewhere around 6 or 8 months. There was no new TV being shot or anything, and from what I gather, they continued to pay their employees through that period. Then they brought TV back, of course. Now, while I'm sure... Okay, this is all just speculation on my part, but while I'm sure Sinclair gives ROH a certain budget, what some people have to understand in this situation is they're not WWE and they're not AEW. Except for a couple pay-per-views, Ring of Honor, by and large, has not been pulling in any money from fans at the events, whether it be merch or ticket sales. They haven't been pulling in any real revenue from that, except for an event here and there. If you've been watching the product, you know that. Also, being owned by a TV company, they aren't getting big money contracts from USA or TNT or Fox like certain other promotions. Now, that's not to say that Sinclair isn't giving them a budget. I'm sure they are. But they don't have the $1 billion deals that WWE is getting, or the $100 million deals that AEW is doing, or whatever it is they get paid. I'm not entirely sure about that one. I know it's obviously more than Ring of Honor is probably getting. So I imagine after the pandemic they've been stretched pretty thin. Now, I want to state, and this is something that a lot of people don't seem to be saying before they're reporting stuff, which is really pissing me off. Most of the things I'm about to say now are purely speculation. But obviously the question is, where do things go from here? I don't know. It's interesting that Ring of Honor has allowed a lot of its talent to be taking independent bookings for the last few months. I know some people had it in their contracts that was okay anyway, as long as it didn't interfere with Ring of Honor and as long as it wasn't on television. So, best case scenario here is that everything in this statement ends up being true and they return to live events this coming April. What that means for me, not to be egotistic, but I feel like I have to comment on this a little bit. While I'll probably watch, as soon as the December pay-per-view is over and I do a recap and review of that, I can't imagine myself doing a review of Well, let's just put it this way. I watch old episodes of Raw and In Your House every single week and various episodes of Mid-South Wrestling, and I don't do episodes based on those, so I'm probably not going to be doing episodes on Ring of Honor TV recapping shit that happened 5-10 years ago. So after Final Battle, unless I see a match that, like, absolutely is out of control, that for whatever reason I haven't seen before, my reporting on Ring of Honor will probably strictly be news-related at that point. If they come back in April or March like they're supposed to, then everything will resume like it's supposed to as status quo, and I will keep my, keep going as I normally do. Until then, obviously, I'll still be covering AEW, the indie stuff as I see fit, and the Pacific Northwest indies as I go to them. WWE as I can stomach it. That varies on a week-to-week basis, but as far as what this means for ROH, there's a lot of people out there right now that are pretending to know exactly what this means, and that's infuriating me more than anything else in this situation. It is, god damn, is it pissing me off. I know this doesn't look good, but unfortunately, instead of getting on Twitter and saying, well, this looks like the end, this is that, they're obviously going under, that might happen. I'm not going to sit here and debate that. But we don't know, and with a situation like this, the only thing that you can do is sit back and take a wait-and-see approach. It doesn't get any better than that, unfortunately. All we can do is sit back and wait and see what happens. There's also... Hold on. Broadcasting group. So there's also a lot of news. If you look at the parent company that actually owns Ring of Honor, Sinclair Broadcasting Group, they've been going through a lot of shit lately. Their stock price as of right now is $26.68, which isn't really horrible given what's been going on this year. I could pull up a graph. I seem to remember a couple things that I read earlier in the year that they were losing money here and there. I'm not going to take that with a grain of salt. I am saying that as someone who is trying to pull something out of his head from earlier. I don't have that sitting in front of me, but I do know that looking at this Google search that Sinclair has been dealing with some ransomware attacks recently. It looks like, as reported from CNN on the 18th of this month, that's when it was reported. That's not necessarily when the ransomware attack happened. I've heard a couple things about that. I've heard that seems to have hit them pretty hard. Their stock market has actually, their stock price has divided a little bit in the last little while, a few dollars, just, I assume, because of that. But even beyond what I'm seeing right here, obviously ROH can't keep hemorrhaging money like I'm sure it has this year. So something has to happen. If it were me, if I'm ROH, at the very least, I would try to keep, if they really intend to come back at the beginning of the second quarter, it sounds like in 2022, I would at least attempt to retain my champions. I don't see any reason not to do that, and then figure out what you're doing going forward. Now, to anyone that might be listening to this that is getting let go from Ring of Honor, I don't know who you would be or why you would be listening to a nothing podcast like me, but if you are for some reason, I don't expect you to sit around and wait and see what happens. If you're one of the people that your contract extends into 2022, that's a little bit different story. You'll be getting paid to kind of sit around and see what happens, so that's a little bit different. But if you're one of these people that come December, now I think it said the end of December people would be let go. So I don't know like PCO's contract ends December 1st. He's already made that clear. I don't think that they plan on paying him all the way through the end of December. That really wouldn't make any sense. But if you're one of these people that come the end of the year, your deal's done, as much as I like guys, the people I've seen talking on social media, Danhausen, Chelsea Green, Silas Young, just to name a few, and I'm not trying to call you guys out, I'm just knowing what I've seen on Twitter. Judging by their tweets, I would assume, since they're like avidly saying, hey, we're taking bookings in 2022, I would assume that those three and many others, their contracts would be up by December 31st. I don't expect all of those people to sit and wait. If they can make a great living off of the indies until then and then see what happens, that's awesome. If they can sign exclusive deals with WWE, AEW, or NWA and make a decent living, I would not, hate them for it. They got to pay their bills, they got to feed their families. It is what it is. If for whatever reason he's listening to this, I apologize if this sounds offensive, but Danhausen in particular, I would love for him to stay the hell away from WWE because they do not know how to handle a fucking character like that. They will destroy it. Anyway, I'm going out. This whole fucking thing is a goddamn tangent. This is just me rambling at this point. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm just going to keep talking about random shit that pops into my head. What this mainly is me getting really pissed off at people that are covering this and connecting dots that they don't know for sure are there. Does this look bad? Yes, it looks bad. Is this ROH saying, hey, we're declaring bankruptcy or we're being shut down? No, it's not. In fact, I believe it was PW Insider that... hold on, I'm going to look this up on their site just so I'm not misquoting anyone, but I believe it was PW Insider that did confirm that Ring of Honor TV is not canceled. Business operations, social media. I'm sit down with Joe Koff. Okay, so I don't remember exactly where I said that. But I do remember reading that ROH is not canceled as a TV show, especially if they're planning on basically showing reruns. Oh, another thing as far as ROH goes, I'll back this up here. On their Twitter, they did announce that... I don't want to misquote them. Hold on. It was tweeted at time 5:21 p.m. on October 27th. That would be Pacific Standard Time, as that's where I'm from. It was tweeted from an iPhone. Because of technical difficulties experienced with our parent company, this week's TV episode will feature an encore presentation spotlighting the franchise of ROH, Jay Lethal. Take a look back at some of his most historic ROH matches against Jay Briscoe and AJ Styles. So, I will be watching that. I probably won't do a review on it just because it's rerun shit of past stuff. But so their TV episode this week is not going to be anything new. This also doesn't fill me with a ton of confidence. Trust me, I'm just as worried about this shit as anyone else. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm just going to keep fucking rambling at this point, and this is going to piss me... What the hell? Oh, there is Sunday, October 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be 5 p.m. my time. Special Halloween episode on YouTube. The graphic has Danhausen and Max the Impaler. I will be watching the shit out of that. Whether or not I'll be able to watch it live, no. My band's got a gig on Saturday. So, Sunday, I will be able to watch this live, and I will be doing that. I love Max the Impaler. I love Danhausen. And to both of you, judging by your tweets earlier, you're definitely affected by this by the end of the year. I wish nothing but the best for you guys. Hopefully, given your guys' gimmicks, Danhausen guy, hopefully with your gimmick, and Max the Impaler, I hope that you two are able to prosper in organizations that appreciate both of your gimmicks and that will understand them and use them to their full potential. Anyway, I've been rambling for the last half hour, so the way this has been covered all day has just fucking infuriated me to no end, and I just had to get this off my chest. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I apologize for all the uhs and hums. I know I do that anyway, but I'm sure it was especially bad since I had no notes sitting in front of me. I appreciate you guys listening to this. This is Russell from Fallout from Dishonor signing off. I will have a new episode this Monday and every Monday going forward until that Ring of Honor pay-per-view. After that, I might reevaluate my release schedule, at least for a period of time. Maybe I'll start releasing on Saturday or Sunday. We'll see. I'll let you know how that goes going forward. The reason I release my main podcast on Monday is I do the review of ROH TV, and I want to give people a chance to watch that before I give my review and thoughts, because I'm just spoiling shit at that point. This mid-episode was actually supposed to be a review of ROH TV from this past weekend, and that's not exactly what happened. But anyway, I apologize for that. If you want the results of what happened this past Saturday, I don't have them sitting in front of me. I'll tweet them out or something. This seemed a lot more important. So anyway, this is Russell signing off. Sorry if you didn't enjoy me rambling. I know I've taken up a half an hour of your time. There's not going to be any fancy intro or outro music like there is usually. It is what it is. I will see you guys on Saturday. And to anyone who's listening to this, Friday night, I am dropping a YouTube interview with the devil himself, Drexel. a Pacific Northwest indie wrestling legend, in my opinion. In fact, after we get off here, I'm going to shoot a little intro video on my phone just for that. So watch that, enjoy it, hopefully, and hopefully ROH will be able to get through this and this trying time. I will update you guys on any news that I get. Oh, before I leave, I did get an email from their PR team that did, as of right now, basically, in a nutshell, I was told that there would be new content from Ring of Honor going forward, so I don't want to get into too much more than that. After that, they just basically quoted Ring of Honor's statement. I don't want to get too much into who they are, why I talk to them. That's kind of my business, but I don't have a ton of insider information. I do know one guy that works at Ring of Honor, at least through email. So they are planning to create new content after this December. That much I can confirm. Whether or not that gets interrupted, who knows. But anyway, I'm out of here. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. This wasn't formatted. It is what it is. Well, you guys may see me this Friday or this weekend on that YouTube video. And I will see you on the main podcast feed on Monday.